some of the notes I took while I was talking with owners, I'd ask the question, make the argument for skill set being the main
Yeah.
criteria for hiring, right? And so here, this is what we were hearing. We know that certain positions require specific skills, right? Carpenters require specific skills. Project managers require specific skills. A designer in our industry requires specific skills. Accounting. So I get that. Uh, some positions just demand a certain level of experience, right? The job skills, some job skills cannot be learned academically. Man, our master carpenter in the back here, if you're not, I can put an intern or apprentice with him, but I'm telling you, they are, I can't sit him in a classroom and teach him I love that expression. You can't learn to ride a bike at a seminar, right?
Get on
You
the
have
bike.
to, there's gotta be on the job doing in order to perform at a high level. Uh, and I think it's not just carpentry. I think business development is that if you're in sales. I think if you're in the volume project management game, and that's a different volume project management. I got a guy sitting in the next office, who joined us a few months ago. I said, how many projects, so for us, an exhibit build project is everything from the actual build and the logistics of getting it moved in and out in whatever venue in whatever city in October. He managed 26 projects in
Mhm.
October. And when you think about that, you go, I mean, so a volume game is much different. I also think in our industry, Khalil, a big part of what we do is crisis management. You've got to have had some experience when we're out on the trade show floor and, projects have anywhere between 7 and 14 variables that you have little to no direct control over. All you can do is respond and be ready when some of those things go sideways, right? So you do have to have some experience to have the true skill set. It's tough to do that first time out. I think the work environment and the conditions the job will be performed in may also require past experience in those conditions. For example, we talk about trade shows. For candidate to be successful, when you move in and move out shows, you're living the carnival life, right? It happens at nights, it happens on weekends, and if you're not used to that, it can be very disruptive to your family life, or just to an individual who's just not built for that. So uh, again, I think everybody that I'm speaking to in our industry, right, they nod and they go, yeah, you got to have the right skill set, whether it's situational experience or environment or trade skills, but ultimately it's your mindset that is going to allow you to be successful over the long term. And so that, leads us to the discussion about, okay, make the argument as to why. And once you really, I hope our listeners, they're talking with their coworkers and their managers about this, because I think once you drill down into it, and I've had people go, look, I need guys on the floor and you got to be an I&D installer and you have to know the exhibit systems. No way you can tell me skill set's not the most important thing. Okay. But when they're disruptive, when they don't play well with others, when they're offensive in front of in a client facing environment, right? Just because they can be the greatest assembly person or
Mhm.
installer, doesn't make them, they've got to understand what the business is trying to accomplish. I need critical thinking skills. So much of what we do in our industry is not defined. It is if I'm making, on this right now, my laptop is sitting on a custom counter. Building that to specs, yes, matters. But when those guys in the shop right now are building framework and the client's product shows up and we have to integrate it, and there's no blueprint for how to do that, right? You got to, and by the way, what if that happens on a Sunday, the day before, an event is opening? So problem solving skills. We've got to have more than just those task
Mhm.
oriented doers, right? So I think that's it. I think a lot of us I'm looking for somebody that does not need to be told what to
Right.
do every day. I don't care what
Well,
your
and I
position.
think what's happening, unfortunately, is that, if you're used to hiring based on skill set, you've you kind of let people manage themselves in a sense. You expect them to know exactly what to do, how to do it. And while I mean, if you're only hiring for skill set, you're probably having more trouble than someone that's hiring for mindset. And if you're going to start hiring for mindset, you got to have some different systems in place. Like you need to have a really good training process. You need to have like direct one-on-ones with a good
Yes.
manager who is experienced. Maybe that's yourself. You've got to have really good systems in place that somebody can follow. Um, and it's going to take a lot more attention to detail, but that's what's going to have to happen if you are going to have to start hiring mindset people rather than skill set people. And that
And you need and Khalil, I need to be able to sit down with a person on a Monday and talk about here's what's going on this week. And it's one step to download and they've internalized it and they get it and they can add value in, in the job duty way, but also in other ways. Because otherwise, if I have to be coming to you every 2 to 3 hours to reset okay, here's what you got to do next. You got to do next. At some point, that hurts your business and it hurts the clients and the client
right.
experience.